And now, Jabroni Studios, in association with Big Herm Productions, is proud to present to you, recording from an undisclosed location in Oakdale, Connecticut, it's Chris Burns, it's Chris Lynch, this is Dysfunction Junction.
Welcome back, everybody, to the train ride from hell and the nonstop to nowhere. Look out the window, signpost up ahead says, welcome to Dysfunction Junction.
Fuck yeah.
My name is Chris Burns. To my immediate left,
Chris Lynch.
My co-host, and of course, producer extraordinaire is Big Herm.
What's up?
Michael P.S. Herman. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. Had a good Easter, nice and quiet.
Mine was quiet as well. I didn't have a whole lot going on. Herm?
No, I worked all day.
It makes sense.
Yep, went in early, did the barbecue thing, went home.
You heathen son of a bitch, I understand.
Yeah, not a lot of barbecue selling on Easter.
No, I can imagine.
Motherfucker, like, if we were selling ham, it'd be great. Like,
ham
everybody,
and fish, you'd be in the house, but...
No, but like, for we had a little lunch, but then nobody for dinner. Not because the food's bad, it's just not the holiday.
It's just not the holiday
like,
for that.
Like this whole Lent season is very bad for barbecue. You
don't give up barbecue for Lent, you give up whiskey for Lent.
Well, no, it's not just that, dude. It's like, you ever tried to sell fucking barbecue on Fridays in Lent when every motherfucker in town's eating fish?
Filet of fish. That's why they come. That's why they
like. What's the one
always
item?
Price them right.
That's good.
What's
That's
the one
good.
item we? Yeah, 2 for $6.
Yeah,
2 for $6. But nobody be eating barbecue on Friday in Lent. I'm just saying.
I got you.
I give up Lent for Lent.
You gave up? Oh, wow.
Yeah, a long time
There's
ago.
one I've never heard before. My man.
Yeah, I gave it up a long time ago.
Oh, so before we get into numbnuts in the news, anybody got a quick hit today?
So I got something that actually started in your camp yesterday afternoon.
I'm always the beginning and end of all bad stories.
And, well, I'm going to give you a little backstory here, folks. All right, so Mr. Burns posted a cartoon.
You say Mr. like I'm distinguished.
With the
Call it like you see it. Chris,
your dad
jabroni,
did what?
numbnuts.
What did your dad do?
Oh, no, I'm almost 50 now. I can be Mr. Burns.
I'm just saying, Mr. Burns. That's your dad. That it's always been your dad.
If he ever did something like this, I might applaud him. But continuing on, Lynch.
So, anyway, fucking dipshit over here posted yesterday on Facebook. It's a cartoon. It's a college student with his cap and gown seated in a little chair. And the quote above, the caption above him says, "The student debt crisis, quotes, solved." And then there's a teacher at a whiteboard. Number 1, you took out a loan, underlined. Number 2, pay it back.
Correct.
Okay, so that's really the dumbed down version of what the message is here.
It's the baseline.
It's the baseline. So then I have other people. I'm going to try to be as nice as possible for the first 5 minutes.
Don't be nice.
So one of the replies was, "Do you actually follow this right-wing dipshit?"
I don't follow him either.
Jesus,
but
what a festering pile of ranted bullshit from this douche. All right, I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause right there.
What? Wait a minute. I have a problem. Who posted right wing?
My reply. The guy who replied to me.
The gentleman replying to
me.
The picture.
All right.
As if paying a loan is right wing. That's where I have a problem.
No,
from,
I guess
from the word go.
I guess where I'm going with that is that the meme is from a position of the right.
Is it?
Was certainly not. No. Yes, the meme is being posted from the right about the left. That's a leftist concept.
Yeah,
it certainly is.
All right. So I guess where my problem is you support this right wing. I was confused on who was what he was talking about with what part was right
okay,
or left.
No, and before he goes on, I prefer to call this a position of adulthood rather than right wing.
No, I understand that. But if we're talking about rights, technically that is from the right towards the left.
It could be viewed as a right wing piece of.
It would be very easy for. I guess where I'm going is not to shit on you at all, but that meme concept, that idea would be a very left idea. We fix our student
all right.
loans.
No.
See where I'm going?
You're on point. Let's go back to Lynch. All right. I got you.
All right. So the basic gist of it is, if you take out a loan from a bank or any financial institution, it is your responsibility to personally pay that back.
Yeah, it's how life works.
Now the caveat is, the problem with these college loans is that the banks are predatory.
We were just talking about this.
It's not just the banks. we were just talking about this.
Certain schools.
The banks and the schools.
You're rolling into my next point. Why does education cost so much?
I'm going to throw this out here twofold. If you want to be a doctor, it's going to cost you. If you want to be a lawyer, it's going to cost you. If you're going to be a teacher, or what's the big thing now? I have a bachelor in liberal arts, which basically means you went to school for 4 years to learn fuck all.
Oh, nice. You did high school twice.
Yeah. Exactly. That shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg, but a doctor, a lawyer, let's say
a specialist degree.
A scientist.
A degree that specializes in a work study program.
Correct.
Whatever it is, business.
If you're going to send
finance.
rockets to the moon, yeah, it should cost a lot. If you're going to defend or protect people in a court of law, yeah, it should cost a lot. I want to make sure my lawyer went to Harvard, Yale, an accredited school, not Three Rivers Community College. No offense to Three Rivers, but I'd like my lawyer to be a little more schooled. Go ahead, Lynch, please.
Right, absolutely.
So then other people are talking about, it's been 10, 15 years and the interest rate is what kills them. Now, there are several choices at this point that you can personally make. If you are keeping your credit good and making in-faith payments throughout the course of, say, 5, 10 years, why not get a credit card, okay, at a lower APR and pay it off that way? There are options. If you own a home,
I'm curious as a finance person, what credit card have you found that has a lower interest rate than a federally given student loan? Because I can't find what credit card have you found?
That's because you still owe $42 to BMG. That's why you can't go to the credit card.
No, I'm good with the credit cards.
Those
Van
Halen CDs are fucking you over.
But trying to find, I would like to know what credit card has a long term for the next, other than your introductory 6 months, has a much reduced interest rate than a student loan.
All right, so
what's the average rate of interest on a student loan?
Let them walk through. 8%. If not more.
Good luck on a fucking credit card. They're 23 to 30% right now.
Okay, so finish my point. There are several banks who they're starving for fucking business. They make their money on asses in the seat. So as many people as they can get to apply for a credit card, that's a metric. So you have sales goals. You need X amount of sales goals for this quarter. I don't give a fuck if it's grandma, grandpa, college student Jones walking through the door. I'm going to push this credit card on them because it's a low APR, 3 to 4% for a finite amount of time. So what you do is you apply for a credit card to a certain degree and say $3,000. You owe $15,000. We'll make it easy. 3% over a year. They are out there. Mm-hmm. They're few and far between.
How much money do you owe total now?
All right, let's say you owe $15,000 total.
All right, and we're just going to set aside $3,000 at that one little low percentage rate.
Correct.
All right, and everything else is at 8%.
Correct.
You've saved no money because the $12,000 is incurring twice to 3 times the interest rate, much longer over the same amount of time than your $3,000 credit card.
I think we're getting beyond the point. Strangely enough. I think what the meme is saying, and I think where Lynch is going with it, it's the same place I was going with it, is you're a homeowner, Herm. You're a homeowner, Lynch. Yep. You took out a loan from a bank to purchase your home. I don't think either one of you had $400,000 extra to just shit out.
Right.
So you take out a loan, and every month they expect their money. There is some forgiveness. You miss a month, okay, it's going to be tacked on to the end of the loan, yada, yada, yada. They expect their money. So should there be forgiveness for your home?
Depends on my track record.
It doesn't matter. Should there be forgiveness on a loan for your home?
Again,
should they just say, Herm, you owe $220,000 on your home. You seem like a nice guy. Track record's good. You know what? We're going to eat this $220,000.
Oh, no, I don't think anybody's going to do that. No, absolutely not. And I don't think anybody should be eating the cost of that either. Mm-hmm. I believe that community college and local community college should be free.
I don't disagree.
All right, I believe that like things like Mitchell or whatever these small local colleges,
Eastern. I mean,
not Eastern,
not
but like
Eastern,
Three Rivers.
Three Rivers.
Three Rivers should be
QVCC up in Putnam area.
I think all of these community colleges should either be I don't want to see federal funding only because I want to keep the federal government out of it. But I think federal funding could be used and given to the state, and then the state allocating it as it seems. I don't want the federal government funding those colleges directly. But I think,
which leads into my next point.
I think that community college should definitely be free for all residents of that whatever the area.
And if not free, then have it be
extremely
like a very
reduced
nominal fee.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. I keep going, baby.
I mean, because the government keeps cutting education budgets left and right. It's every year. But anyway,
Mike, take your pill.
But that leads into my next point is that one of these people who replied to me actually worked in a institution that gave these loans. Mm-hmm. And the problem being is that you get a loan, it's say between 8 to 10% student loan. Okay.
Right.
You're not, and sometimes you're not even paying for your entire college trip that way. You're only paying a portion of it.
It's subsidiary.
It's a subsidy to what you can afford out of pocket, or like if you have a nest egg, or you've saved since 8th grade as a college fund.
Right, grants.
Yeah.
There's multiple income streams.
Sure.
But the problem is
for financing that.
The problem being is that let's say it's a 10-year term, 8% interest on $25,000. Okay, the feds lower the interest rate. Guess what? Your loan is grandfathered. Whereas if they drop it 3 points,
you're still at
8%.
If you're at 6% and they drop it, you're still at 6%.
Yeah, but every loan's that way unless you buy a variable. It doesn't matter. If I buy a car loan at 13% and all the interest rates go down, it's going to be 13%, even if the interest rate drops to 6.
My problem with the whole thing, and I'm sure Lynch is going to have more to say about it, because this originally, like he said, I started the ball rolling. I'm usually the beginning and the end of all bad stories, it seems. My deal is, and I hate to use the terms Gen Z or millennials, let's just say people under 30 and some over 30 just believe that we should just wipe out all student debt. Well, eventually somebody has to pay for it. You know who's going to pay for it?
Me.
Everybody.
Me, you.
Lynch, me. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Herm, Lynch, me, your mom, anybody who's paying taxes, whether on a federal or state level, we're going to be the ones on the hook for your student debt. So maybe you should get on your knees and suck my dick if this gets done, because I just paid your college off, bitch.
Well, it's not like you can just stop paying on your car. You can't stop paying on your mortgage.
No, it was a point that Herm and I were making before we went hot, is that you can't just ditch. Somebody has to pay for it. Eventually, someone has to recoup these funds. And if they're federally funded student loans, we're all on the hook.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that
why should Lynch, who may or may not have gone to Harvard, pay for some asshole who went to Harvard 4 years, got a degree, went on, got a big ass job, but I want my student loans refunded. I want them. What's the word they're looking for? Forgiven or expunged. I want my student loans forgiven because, heaven forbid I have to pay for this education. Why should Lynch pay for your education, Rosie Rottencrotch?
Now, if it were that I pay a tax, part of my tax base goes towards public education, you know what? I'm all for it.
Because if it's put to the public, voted on and ratified, then yes, I agree.
It would reduce or not make it free, but at least reduce the amount that goes out of the student's pocket right up front.
I'm all for reduced.
It's like making a down payment on a car or a house or anything else you want.
But I'm going to say this to that point:
you can't have all the fancy fucking toys and be irresponsible. And these banks set up shop in the campus, in the lobby. They see dollar signs. They see 18 to 24-year-olds coming in.
That is predatory. And I'm going to take this Herm's direction because I think he'll understand. You can go to McDonald's and get a burger. Or you can go to Noble Steakhouse or Smokehouse or just go to Noble in Mystic, Connecticut next time you're down here.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And get one of their burgers. And tell me that you prefer the Big Mac to the Big Herm. Chances are you won't. It's an experience, but it's also made with quality ingredients. It's made by a quality chef. It's not some,
pimpled face 18-year-old.
Yeah, or an illegal alien whose only skill is to close the clamshell and cook the burgers. It's like the idiots that say, why do we need a Mexican restaurant in town? We already have a Taco Bell. Just shoot
That's not
me.
Mexican food.
Just shoot me.
Like that fine Italian restaurant, Papagino's?
There's a difference between quality and quantity. McDonald's sells quantity, billions and billions served. but I'd rather go to Smash Burger, even though they are a chain, because the burgers are better. I would rather go, say wings. My daughter was here this past weekend. We went to B-Dubs because she loves the B-Dubs. But I'd rather go to a local joint that their specialty is all wings all the time. They take their care. Stop.
3 words: do drop in.
Where's that?
That's in Stonington.
Google it.
Okay, I will.
Stonington.
Do drop in.
That'll be our next stop.
Best wings
or
around.
doing wings with my football buddies on Sunday. We all bring the wings. We cook them. We bring different sauces. But you know they're being done with care and with love. It's not just mass-produced bullshit. If you want good, you have to pay for good. There's a reason why a Celica, if they even still make them, we'll go with Camry. There's a reason why the Toyota Camry costs $45,000 and a Rolls-Royce costs $450,000.
Yes.
Not only the name, but the quality, the workmanship, and the amount that they put out on the road.
But here's a question.
Sure.
Okay. Let's take a 1998 Camry and let's compare it to a 2022 Camry. And
You're the car guy. You're going to have to tell me the difference.
Here we go. Would you don't have to be a car guy to answer this question. You know how things are going. Would you be able to say that the Camry that you're buying that is in 2022
Off the lot,
brand new, same as you bought it if you were to buy it brand new in 1998, would you say that you could make an honest assumption as a consumer that the vehicle that has risen in price is now a more higher quality, better vehicle than it was in 1998?
Absolutely.
Knowing
Okay.
what I know about vehicles, no, because
All right.
they're not as well made
All right,
now.
but we can all admit that technology has progressed, right?
Sure.
And that they've engineered that shit into the vehicle now. Okay, so what's the difference between a marketing education in 1998 versus a marketing education now? Has something changed? Marketing
Totally fucking different. It's gone from
concepts are still the same. All of the base concepts in every goddamn education are the same.
But the media is different.
You're changing with some slight changes.
Look at what we're doing
I'll give you
here,
that.
for crying out loud. Mike,
but-
stop for a second. Look at what we're doing here. This used to be 3 guys sitting at a bar had we known each other 30 years ago. But don't hit the button. Don't hit the button.
I'll get it.
No.
This could have been on over-the-air radio heard by 15,000. Now it's on-demand entertainment.
No.
The market has changed, but marketing in and of itself, I'm with you, has not changed.
I guess where I'm going is that you've seen the improvements per se physically in that product from Toyota, in that Camry.
On the surface.
All right. On the surface, and you can actually go down and check engineering specs
Sure.
if you want to against. My question is, how much of that is visible, and are you really getting with the new high-fangled college education that's 1,000% more expensive than it was 30 years ago, where everything else is 300% more expensive?
I'm going to let Lynch answer that.
Now that it's 1,000% more expensive, and you're getting just some slight add-ins, but your education's basically is teaching math any different than is teaching 2 + 2 different than it was 30 years ago?
Okay,
Well,
you're kind of putting apples and pomegranates against each other. Teaching math, no. Teaching marketing or lawyer or doctor or this or that. The human body hasn't changed, but there are new and exciting diseases that come out every day.
Yes, absolutely.
In the law, there's changes each and every day. A law degree from 1991, it's why they call it practicing law. You're always upgrading.
You're always learning.
I'm aware of that, but there's I don't feel that you're seeing the 1,000% markup in the college cost that they're pushing at the price tag at the checkout counter.
Right, and
They're pushing 1,000 times more expensive, but they're only giving you pretty much the same with some newfangled add-ins.
right, and that goes to a point that someone made on that to me on that post, is that education. Why is education cost so fucking much now as opposed to 30 years ago? That's because colleges want to make money.
Yeah, I mean,
And all. Bottom line is everything is the almighty dollar, and then in some schools, like Chris said, Harvard, Yale, wherever, any Ivy League school, it's the prestige of saying, I have this piece of paper that has the word Yale on it.
Indiana or Ohio State
Right.
or
I
Michigan.
mean, like I was telling Chris before we started recording, have the conditions of the prison style / orphanage dorm rooms at colleges gone up in some? Are they all living in like fucking,
Luxury apartments?
Manhattan flats now? No. Has the food gone from, bulk cafeteria food that may be decent to, are they eating at the Ritz-Carlton every meal? No. So if they had upgraded all of this, like all of a sudden everybody was living in a personal apartment, if everybody was eating food like they were eating at, Wolfgang Puck's every night, I can see this kind of cost. That shit is available and able. You can see it. I see the building that I'm living in. I see the quality of this and that. You see and hear so much shit about these colleges just being shitholes, yet they're making and asking for disgusting amounts of money.
Well, it's a sliding scale as well, is because if the more money that the college charges for tuition, teacher salaries raise. So where's the college going to get that money? Of course, they're going to raise tuition.
It's inflationary.
Yeah, it's inflationary. And one feeds into the other.
Yeah, now combine all that shit with the NCAA.
Fucking boom, big money.
So now you've got the NCAA and the colleges are making giant amounts of fucking money. The students aren't getting anything out of it. And all they're doing is using it to promote. They're taking all that money from that program and using it to make a bigger, better program to try and suck more kids in, to suck more money in.
And the sad part about that is that, a kid who plays good basketball isn't a good student. Normally, they get by with C's.
Oh yeah, he's going to get fed.
He's going to pass and graduate. If he's that much of a fucking rock, he shouldn't be there, number one, and wasting space for a kid that actually wants to get an education and make something of himself.
Right.
Because fuck you, there's thousands of people behind him that deserve an education.
Right. Agreed.
Fairness and equality in education is never going to get there unless the federal government admits to themselves they are the ones that created this mess with these financial loans, started in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and they just keep getting progressively worse. They've bailed out big banks. They bailed out Detroit. When are they going to bail out themselves and do themselves a favor and stop stepping on their own dick when it comes to, number one, perpetuating this myth where, it's okay. It's okay. Don't pay your bill. We'll wipe it away. And the unfortunate part of that is the majority of the populace now, kids between 18 to 30 years old, follow that ideology. They make up their own pronouns. They do what they fucking want and they expect it for free.
They're out of their mouth.
Exactly. And I hate to sound like Ben Shapiro here, but it's fucking bullshit.
Are you going to talk about ExpressVPN?
No.
Okay, just check it.
Can't do that.
All right.
But it just irks me that it's a fast food society, and now the kids that are growing up behind us, the generation right behind us, I'm scared of what the world's going to be like in 15, 20 fucking years.
We're still going to be here, so we're going to...
Well, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, if Putin doesn't get a fucking wild hair across his dick and hit the button.
I doubt that's going to happen, but we're at the ass end of a generation coming up that, no offense, not you, not Herm, not me, our generation sort of created this. Every kid is special. Every kid, we're going to hold their hand and teach them that, I love you and you love me and you can be whatever you want to be.
I won't say necessarily.
It was the next generation that was the leave no kid behind. We were already out of school.
George Bush, the first one, was leave no kid behind. And that's rooted. We can find that.
That's a totally different discussion.
Exactly.
As well.
However, the more we tell everybody you can be anything you want to be, but we leave out the part that says as long as you work hard for it, no kid's going to walk out of high school and become the CEO of fucking IBM, or they're not going to become a billionaire like Jeff Bezos. And I have problems with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and that whole fucking crew. My problem is we're leaving out the most important part that generations before had to know and were taught, is that you can be anything you want to be if you bust your ass and try your ass off.
I made that point in my thread to say I was fortunate enough to be able to pay for my own school through hard work and busting my fucking ass and working 3 to 4 jobs. I had no debt by the time I was done with school. Granted, I went to a school that was reasonable for my pocketbook. And that's the problem, is that these colleges dangle these carrots in front of kids and say, oh, you come here, you'll be able to get a job here. I know people who are my age who have a great degree from a great school, and guess what? They've never practiced that degree in their career.
No, I think there's also another problem with it's not just and I don't think the rates on student loans are disgustingly crazy. All right, I don't. Given the rates, the rates on everything else, the rates are really, really low. My problem isn't necessarily isn't the loans. My issue is the schools, the way that they're selling tickets to a concert that you're never going to go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're
exactly.
selling tickets that we're going to teach you this job, and we're going to send you out there, and you're going to be gangbusters. And they're not telling everybody and the students that are buying these degrees that you are one of 8 million people hitting the job market this year, and you're going to have a hard time finding a job.
I don't care if you change oil. I don't care if you change oil for a living or you're a lawyer. Jobs are hard to come by. You have to show yourself. And that's part of the problem I have with the generation we've had coming up. If Mike is more qualified to do a job than I am and Mike gets the job, that's life. My mommy is not going to call up and go, why didn't you give Chris the job? Well, Chris deserves this job. Well, Mike's more I don't care if Mike's more qualified. My boy should have this job. That's the generation that's coming up.
Well, it's not just that. It's that they've been told that this is where they've been told by these schools that these are, and by media and whatever research outlets they're checking into, this is where things are going to go. All right, the medical field's blowing up. This field's blowing up. This field's expecting this much percentage increase in the next 10 years.
You're selling oceanfront property in Arizona.
Well, right, but they're taking that.
It's like a timeshare. You're selling air.
They're taking that information they've been given and what the schools are telling them and going for a degree that is costing them a shitload of money, that when they get out, the schools go, well, good luck. Sorry, you can't find a job.
Is it the school's responsibility to help you find a job?
There should at least be programs to point you in the right direction.
I don't disagree, but it's a yes or no question. Is it the school's?
I don't believe it's
okay.
I believe to a degree, yes. I believe it is a degree. That our job is to educate you and get you into the workforce.
I'm under a different impression.
It doesn't benefit.
Our job is to educate you. What you do from there is on your volition.
Right. But you go to a college to go and get that education so you can get into the workforce.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Educating 8,000 people and then not offering any assistance to any of them.
I'll agree with that. No. I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We don't guarantee. It's not like a tech school that we guarantee you placement. Look, we're going to help you try and find and that. Yes. Are we responsible to find you a job? No.
Sure.
Should we be able to give you the tools you need? Yes.
Yes. I agree with that. Dumb question. What's our timestamp?
Oh, we're 28 minutes right now.
Jesus Christ.
We're good, man. We're good.
We're a third into this.
Let it roll.
All right. You got any final thoughts on this?
No, I just... Education is a very big deal with me.
Agreed.
And I think every kid deserves a fair shot, but it is up to the individual to motivate themselves and want and have the drive and desire to be educated.
But at the end of the day...
it's all on the kid's shoulders.
Agreed. And if you take out a loan under your name, little Susie Sally Rottencrotch goes and she wants to go to Yale, and you take out these loans, it's not Chris Burns' responsibility to pay him back.
Well, nor is it
Susie Sally Rottencrotch.
Nor is it anybody else in the world or government to just forgive that debt.
Precisely.
It's just like saying, okay, Chris, you can stop paying your mortgage for 9 months. We're not going to throw you out.
Oh, isn't that
You
nice?
can stop paying for your car 5 months.
Oh, isn't
and on
that
the 6th
nice?
month we repossess it, because technically that car the car you drive, if you finance, you don't own it.
No,
you don't own it.
You took a loan out that you're paying back.
You're borrowing it from a bank until the bank terms have closed, or you pay it off. One or the other.
And it's not anything that you or Herm or myself haven't gone through before. But for some reason, our little friends today seem to think, well, it should just be forgiven. And Herm was right. It's a very left-wing point of view.
I'm going to start making up my own pronouns, too. I'm going to make up one right now.
Well, let me ask you.
I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not a libertarian. I'm a reasonableist.
A reasonableist.
Okay.
I like it.
I will go with anybody's. Not anybody. I want to word this very carefully. I will go.
Damn.
Right. He was that close.
I was that close.
I know. I could feel it.
I will go with whoever makes the most fucking sense to me, whether you're black, white, purple,
Democrat,
male, female,
Republican, what have you.
self-assigned gender, whatever you are, whatever you identify as that day. I'm going to go with you. That's a reasonableness.
Understood.
Okay, next.
Today, I just want to let you know, today I identify as a hammerhead shark, and you can't stop me.
All right. Excellent.
How are you identifying
What
today?
color?
Gray. Got to be gray. It's got to be gray.
Heard gray.
You left your lights on.
Son of a bitch.
Megan's out there with the dogs.
I'll be right down.
Okay.
You have a quick hit or anything, or we just want to take a quick break and get right into numbnuts in the news? My quick hit was lame. Took my kid to see SmackDown. 2 years ago, I took her to see WWE Raw, and this was in their no pyro thing. I don't know why they cut the pyro off, but it seemed like every other competitor on Friday night had pyro. So her not being used to that, you see it on TV, it hits differently.
Yes.
So
it's a little more intense.
Yeah, on TV, it's subdued. Now you're there in the arena.
Explosions.
Oh my God, the concussion bomb. She is 6 inches off of her chair every single fucking time. And the most telling thing, and we are going to take a break in a minute because I want to share. Lynch just left the room. You'll get a kick out of this. There's a couple kids sitting a couple rows behind us, and they're jibber-jabbering about this guy is tougher and this guy's tougher. And Emma leans over to me and she says, how are these kids going to feel in 5 years when they find out this is predetermined and scripted? It's not on the up and up. I'm like, shh, Emma, keep it down. Let's let these kids have their Santa Claus moment.
Fuck that Santa Claus moment.
No. I was like, let's have this Santa Claus moment. 5 minutes later, when the match isn't going the way she wants it to go, 1, 2, somebody kicks out. She goes, oh God damn! I thought she had him, and I thought it was during one of the girls' matches. Can't remember. I know Rhea Ripley was in it because I was staring at her ass half the night. But yeah, every time 1, 2, and somebody kicks out, she's just hotter than shit. God damn it! I wanted that one to win. So we leave the arena. Everything's good. We're circling around the arena from the parking garage, and we get to where the wrestlers leave, and a car pulls out, and we hear a bunch of people go, oh, Liv Morgan, oh, you're so pretty, can I take your picture, whatever. An asshole and his asshole daughter come into the lane of traffic next to Liv Morgan's car. She rolls down the window, get the little selfie in the car or whatever, and I'm like, Em, get out of the car, get yourself, I don't want to do that. We get on the highway, we're headed, what is it in Massachusetts, 290 before it becomes 395, and I see the car. I say, hey, Em, that's Liv Morgan's car right there. She goes, no, it isn't. I'm like, I put the Rusty Wallace on, pulled right up next to the car, honked my horn. Liv Morgan looks over. There's Emma in the window. Hi. Liv Morgan waves at Emma. It was the coolest moment, but that brief moment where she's motherfucking the kids behind us. And then 6 minutes later when she's them. At 14, but you know what? It was that good. And again, putting memories in the Rolodex, man. I don't like giving my daughter a lot of useless shit that she's not going to use 20 years from now. She can take that memory and go on with it for years to come. And that's what I do. And she had a blast, and I damn near died because, again, I'm still going through the seasonal allergy bit. I don't know if anybody can hear it. But right at the beginning of the show, we watched the opening match before they go live on Fox. Mm-hmm. And right before we're 45 seconds from going live on Fox TV, I start hacking up along. Emma, sit in your seat. I'm going down the concourse. I'll be right back. What are you doing? I'm going to die. And I did. I went down the concourse, nobody there. I'm just hacking up along, spitting in the garbage can, come back. Fireworks start going off. I'm like, all right, we're cool. Let's go. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, boy, are you going to have some fun. Numbnuts in the news. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. It's Dysfunction Junction. You know that because you're already here and you clicked on this. It's on-demand audio. Why am I telling you where we are? That's fucking stupid.
They know.
They know.
Some people need a map.
Okay. And we're going to give them a map, but these are maps of places you don't want to go. Originally, this week was going to be all one-star strip club reviews. I don't have enough. That's next week. I promise you all the good strip club reviews next week, but we made a last-minute decision. Let's find some dumb news stories and bring them out. Call it Numbnuts in the News. Now I'm going to give Lynch, real quick. I got 4 stories here.
Yep.
I'm taking 1 off the table.
Yeah.
So you have a choice between 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
And whatever you choose is the one I'm going to read first.
2.
2. All right. Oh, this might be my favorite one. Okay, here it comes. Yeah, right. This was from a couple days ago, April 18th, 2022. The headline is, Michigan kindergartner brings tequila to school and shares it with the classmates. All right, Harm's down with this.
Excellent.
That's okay.
All right.
That's a good one.
Let me read some of this story to you, as usual. I'm sure there's going to be drop-ins here and there from you guys.
Uh-huh.
Some parents are outraged after learning a kindergartner brought alcohol to school and shared it with classmates. According to NBC 15, first of all, let's start here. It's Michigan.
Okay.
Not quite Florida, but they root for a shitty football team.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to catch shit from a couple listeners who are staunch Michigan fans, but fuck you, your team sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's Michigan. Like, you have to leave the United States to get there.
Kind of, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, you got to go up.
You got to go through Canada.
I've been there before.
You otherwise, you have to go through your ass to get to your elbow around the other way.
Yeah.
Right. The Yuppies, let's not get into it. The Michigan student shared a bottle of Jose Cuervo mix with 10% alcohol with 4 students at a Grand River Academy before a teacher stepped in to stop.
Oh, it's just a mix?
There was alcohol in it. It was like the pre-mixed, like those. You remember those? They probably still sell them.
The
We used to get
club?
them, the Jack Daniels
Yes,
gimmicks.
Yeah,
yes.
they called it the club.
Like,
Yeah, thank you.
The Lynchburg lemonade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's where this is going. One parent told the outlet she got a call from the school alerting her that her daughter was one of the students. Quote, there were so many thoughts running through my mind like, oh my God, what if this was open before the girl brought it to school? How much was it? Fox 2 reported that Smith's daughter had 4 or 5 sips and felt woozy and a little dizzy. The students were under the impression that they were drinking juice during snack time until the child who brought the mixed drink in told him it was alcohol. Okay, stop. Keep in mind. Remember the headline? It's a kindergartner.
I want to party with this kid in about 10 years.
I'm going to switch the script. I want to party with this kid in 10 minutes. Right after we're done with the show. One student then went to tell the teacher what it was. While we try to keep an eye on everything our students bring to school, that's simply not possible. True. Teachers can't be as I proved today.
Yep.
Teachers can't be all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-being. It's unfortunate that these type of adult beverages can be easily mistaken for child-friendly drinks, said the school. This is one of the parents was Smith. It's funny, it's how it's a Smith. Smith told Fox 2 she wasn't mad at the child who brought the alcohol, but the child's parents should be punished. If your child knows what it is, nothing wrong with it, but they should know not to touch it. It's not for kids. I'll agree with said parent. They should know better, but you know what? Kids do silly shit for the sake of doing silly shit.
Kids do silly shit.
Well,
and
just like you said about the teacher, parents can't be every waking moment everywhere that kid is walking.
Exactly.
He could have done it the night before bed.
Mm-hmm. Agreed, 1,000%.
But yeah, if he knows it's adult drink, he shouldn't be handling it. I will agree with that.
I mean, I'm sure, and again, somebody's going to catch... I'm going to catch shit on this one, but you can't do the back in my day thing without some ridiculous child coming in. You can't compare it. No, we were smarter back then. Let's start there. I pretty much knew not to bring bourbon to school, no matter how much my dad or my granddad or somebody liked bourbon. You just don't do it. Not when you're in kindergarten.
No.
You bring a rock, you bring a frog, you bring something for show and tell. You're not bringing Jose Cuervo Silver Tequila to fucking school.
I was hoping it would be like Don Julio or Cabo Wabo at least.
Wouldn't it be nice if they brought the Cabo in? My dad went and saw Sammy Hagar, and here's the tequila he brought from his...
and all he got was his bottle of tequila.
Right? For $90 a bottle, it better be some good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, but... exactly. I got lynchism right now. I can feel my face drooping to the side.
Mm-hmm.
A kindergartner. And the parents are blaming the other parents, but the other parents probably had no fucking idea. Like one of you guys brought up.
Yeah, like somebody had no clue that kid was probably brought that to school. It's not like their
Exactly.
mom was like, oh, you just got one? Okay, go.
Well, it's like a kid walking through your parents' bedroom, sees this long, slender thing, bright pink, doesn't know what the fuck it is.
I see where this is going.
Goes to show and tell, whips it out. It's a fucking dildo
It's an
or a
egg beater.
vibrator.
Right?
It's mommy's egg beater.
Mommy uses this when daddy's out on the road because she said her neck hurts.
But she doesn't put it on. She doesn't put it on her neck.
No, she
It
doesn't.
smells like gasoline too.
Why does your mommy's toy smell like fish? No answer to that.
No.
Oh, you got a story?
Actually, I do. I have a
All
couple.
right. Oh, good. Let's hear one. You didn't bring any stories in her?
No,
You're just here for the ride.
I'm here for the ride.
I can't wait to watch his face melt on one of these next two.
Just here for the pretty face.
All right. So I'm going to start off pretty heavy. This is in Michigan again.
Oh, wow. Michigan
So-
is the new Florida.
Oh, it's
we
the
have
new
a-
Florida.
We have a theme,
Okay.
unexpected
Excellent.
theme.
This is fabulous.
Not picking on anybody from Michigan, but
All right.
it's
So
really
the headline.
bad.
The headline is Autopsy Reveals White Michigan Cop Fatally Shot Black Man Patrick Leola, 26, in the back of the head while face down on the ground after a traffic stop. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version. This guy was pulled over for whatever reason, traffic violation. Okay.
Oh, I think I know this
He gets
story.
out of the car, and the cop directs him several times, "Sir, just stay in your car. Sir, just stay in your car. Sir, just stay in your car." At least 4 or 5 times. Guy says, the cop is asking, "Do you have ID? Do you have ID?" Now, whether there's a language barrier or not there, wherever this guy is from, probably know what a police officer looks like in a light with red and blue lights or whatever on top of affixed to the top of the car. It then turned into the cop was trying to physically restrain him and detain him and put him in handcuffs. Mm-hmm. The black man then started physically scuffling to the point where they were on the ground making contact. The cop was reaching for his taser, pulled it out, and then the guy grabbed the taser in the cop's hand. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the cop was using proper escalation of force. Ask him to get out, tell him to get down.
Respond.
Response, non-lethal option. He was reaching for his non-lethal option.
So far, so good.
And this gentleman kept grabbing for it. Now, I am going to start reading the new parts of the news article here. Lawyers for the family of a black man who was killed earlier this month following confrontation with a white police officer. Notice that's important.
Yeah, big problem here because we don't say someone
No, if this
suspected or accused or what have you just goes white and black immediately.
uncalled for. It says an independent autopsy confirms that he died from a single gunshot wound to the back of his head. Spitz, who was the independent investigator, concluded that the black male died of a gunshot wound which entered back of his skull near the midline. He wrote in his report that the large caliber bullet traveled up the right side of his skull and lodged near the right temporal body, noting there was extensive hemorrhaging in the brain. All right, so we got hit basically in the jaw and it went right into his grave. Death occurred in a matter of seconds.
I'm gonna die.
He added he found no other injuries consistent with a struggle. In contrast with the Michigan Police Department's assertion that he fought back against a cop following a traffic stop earlier this month. Okay, so I'm going to play you a little clip of the YouTube video that I stumbled across. It contains the entire 20-minute incident. But the first
20 minutes.
No, listen, let me finish.
Okay.
That fills the show.
Yeah, right? We're out of here. See you later.
No, I'm only going to play you the small clip of the officer trying to detain this person.
Gotcha.
The first 4.5 minutes are the incident. The rest is medical and everybody trying to get there and render aid to him. So here we go. I'm going to hit play right about here.
Like he good, bro. Like, can you talk to him like good? Like, can you? Yeah. Stop grabbing him like that. No, he good like for real. Yo, you hit him too. Get that shit, bro.
Let go of the taser!
No, he ain't grab no taser. I see that.
Let go of the taser!
At this point in the video, the police officer pulls out his gun and shot Loyola one time.
Mm-hmm.
Drop taser!
Okay. That's it. So, I'm going to continue reading this news article.
Okay.
Okay. Spitz reports, this is the expert that did the secondary autopsy. Spitz report in the first autopsy released in the case, as the Kent County Medical Examiner announced last week, that its report will not be made public until after the Michigan State Police finishes its own internal investigation into the shooting. It is still expected to conduct a toxicology and tissue test. Famed civil rights attorney Ben Crump claimed on Tuesday that the officer, who has not been named publicly, failed to ease up after a foot chase and physical struggle following a traffic stop on April 4th, saying the unnamed white officer escalated a simple misdemeanor traffic stop. This was an unnecessarily killing of an unarmed black man. Crump and Johnson say they're now preparing a civil lawsuit against the officer, but whether they file it will only be determined by the actions of the city of Grand Rapids. This is the city that this occurred in. And now the gist of what happened is this is the cop. I'm stopping you. Do you have a license? Do you have a driver's license? Do you speak English? Loyola confirms that he speaks English, opens the driver's side door, then he shuts the door, turns his back to the officer, and starts walking away. The cop says, no, stop, and puts his hands on Loyola's shoulder. He's then seen Loyola pushing back against the officer and starts running until the officer tackles him on the ground. He and the cop grapple in front of several homes while Loyola's passenger got out and watched. The officer repeatedly orders Loyola to let go of his taser, at one point demanding drop the taser. Okay, so let's use some common sense here. You're a police officer. You're using non-lethal force to try to subdue a subject, detain him, and question him. If said suspect takes control of your non-lethal weapon and incapacitates this cop, he then has full access to his duty-issued sidearm, does he not?
Yeah,
to an extent, yes.
To an extent, yes.
So, I can never, and will never say what I would do if I were a cop. But my opinion is, in this guy's case, this cop escalated the force to the point where he had to have the upper hand. And at this point,
I've got a dumb question. It may not be a dumb question, but it may be a dumb question. Did the shot necessarily have to be fatal?
When you're rolling around on the ground with a 300-some-odd pound black man and you're about...
I don't care what color you are. I understand where you're going.
Listen,
it's part of the story. I get it. Yeah.
You're 225 pounds. And he's got a little bit more mass in size on you, and he's gonna use it. You can't line up your shot at that point.
Okay,
it's
fair.
not like you're jumping out of your cruiser.
But it says he was shot in the back of the head, right?
Right here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He came in here and it lodged somewhere up around his temple.
Right here.
So you either were underneath this person and the head was right there.
How? Okay, as a gun owner,
mm-hmm.
if you are on top of the guy and you shot him in the back of the head, he was face down.
Yep.
He can't reach his arms around behind him and dislocate them. He's not a fucking changeling and can switch his whole arms around and face another way. So my question is where was the fight that the officer was fighting against at that point that he could only shoot him in the head? You're right here, bro. There's a very small area. You got to hit it. You know you're going to shoot him in the back of the head. If you're that close, you're right there.
Yeah, the the video, he's literally 3 inches from him.
I guess that's my point. Is that you shot him in the back of the head, which technically he was trying to gain control of your non-lethal sidearm. I guess when looking at it from a third-party point of view, like abstractly, I don't know. Back of the head.
I'm kind of suspect
There's a lot
on
of
that
other
myself.
places. There's a lot of other places I could have shot that dude.
Not being in the situation, not being there in the heart of the
No. And I'm not
thing.
saying I was there either. I'm just saying that if I'm thinking about it and thinking it through,
you could shoot anything to de-escalate at that point.
Right. Right. Technically,
Because once you get shot, you're going into defense mode. Oh shit! I got shot in my leg. And you roll over and you're tending to the wound.
Right.
And
that becomes your point of focus. You've been shot now.
Without going into who's right and who's wrong. This is, depending on which side of this narrative you sit on, is where our country has a problem. Cops are being too brutal, or are the criminals being too brutal?
Yeah, are the cops being too brutal, or the criminals not?
They just don't give a fuck.
Or the criminals not stopping when the cop says stop, and now we have to take it further.
Well, that's just it. You listen to what the cops telling you to do. If he has a warrant, or if he doesn't really have a valid driver's license, that can be dealt with. Making the conscious choice to flee and then fight with the cop, I mean, that's on you, stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to sound cold and callous, but you made that conscious decision to run and to combat law enforcement. When it could have been a simple conversation, a ticket, be on your way, this news story wouldn't exist.
Right.
And that's about 90% of cop news stories now. They don't, and I'm actually kind of proud of this news story because they actually include the piece where they did say that the cop said repeatedly, drop the taser, drop the taser, drop the taser. And he refused, and nobody should die. I'm not saying that the guy deserved it. I'm not saying that nobody should lose a child.
Right.
And whether it's a cop getting killed, whether it's a suspect getting killed, whether it's an innocent bystander taking crossfire from a criminal, nobody's child should die today. And heat of the moment issues like that, and being wrestled around on the ground with a non-compliant person, who the fuck knows what this cop was thinking of? Maybe he was trying to hit him in the right shoulder, and the guy moved. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But that's the problem, is you can Monday night quarterback this to hell, and it's not going to change the fact that this poor guy is dead. Whether nobody deserves it, but did he deserve to get pulled over? Yes. Was the end result a happy outcome? Absolutely not. That's all I got on that. Well, it's a very minor, stupid in that.
No. I follow it and I understand it, but at what point do we start holding criminals accountable for their behavior, which seems to be a very interesting talking point right now amongst, again, I'm pointing fingers, 30 and younger, and some that are older that want to live that fallacious lifestyle. And it is a fallacy that we don't need cops. Everything should be the Wild West. We should police ourselves. Yeah, that worked for never.
Well, and that's what I get a kick out of the sovereign citizens. The first people they call when shit doesn't go their way
is the cops.
Is the cops.
Well, if somebody breaks it, and I said this to Mike and I were talking about this, a particular person in our life. I say, look, you know what? Next week, there was one during the BLM riots. There's no reason why you should burn down a building to prove your point. Well, they're proving a point. Cool, I'll be at your house next week. I'm going to come up with a reason. I'm going to burn down your house. Are you threatening me? No, I'm going to peacefully protest. And then later on, when there was the Breonna Daniels? The cops go to the wrong apartment or the right apartment. She got shot instead of her boyfriend or what have you. The boyfriend was the criminal. Breonna Daniels, completely innocent. To this day, completely innocent. She shouldn't have died. But I said, if somebody breaks into your house, who are you going to call? I'm going to call the cops. Well, you want the cops defunded and de-escalated. Call a plumber.
Call an electrician.
Yeah. Somebody breaks into your house and threatens your children, call a plumber.
Call the drywall guy.
You don't want, yeah, exactly. You want to believe in the cops? Fuck you. Then you don't deserve them.
Well, and you can't. That's another situation. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it your way. It's not Burger King.
Exactly.
And number two, they're there. They exist to do a job, and that's to keep order, peace, and defend the Constitution. We all have constitutional rights. Some people like to poke holes in the Constitution, say that shit don't apply to me, and become a sovereign citizen. And I'm not driving. I'm traveling. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Travel yourself out of my fucking state.
Right. Oh my God, I might have another one. Give me a second. Talk a little bit more about your point.
All right, so I'm going to throw another thing out here. Remember I told you that I had a situation brewing?
Yes.
Last night? Not going to mention any first-person names because this is now an active investigation. Someone who adopted from the rescue a couple of years ago decided to go on vacation cross-country, leaving her dogs stuffed in dog crates with no one home to tend. No one home to tend to them. The neighbor and the estranged ex-husband stopped by the house and heard dogs crying. So the ex-husband apparently still has a key and walked in and found one dog so emaciated that they ended up euthanizing it. And the other one, which was our rescue dog, somebody took him and is fostering him right now. How low level of a fucking human being do you have to be to stuff a defenseless thing in a prison and just let it sit there, not have access to water, not have access to food for days? For days.
Okay, I'm going to point at you on this one because I know what you think and what you do and all that. I'm going to go to you. You got 3 beautiful pups at home, right?
4.
4? Okay,
yeah.
I must have missed. I never see one of them.
Yeah,
Only the 2 that beat my ass and the one that's afraid of me.
We have Grace, we have Lulu, and we got the twins.
Okay. It's one of them that doesn't like me. 2 of them like to kick my ass, and one is just lazy as fuck. I'm sure you could pick out the ones and name them right now.
Yes.
Do it. 2 like to kick my ass. Which 2 are they?
It's probably Grace.
Grace is one of them.
Grace, and it's probably Lulu, the 2 bigger ones.
Yep, and then of the twins,
and then
one
the little one, Laverne, and then Shirley is the fraidy one.
I was going to say one
cat.
of them will sit and look at me as if they're watching me try to steal candy from the 7-Eleven. The other one just doesn't give a fuck. Would you, at any point when you go on vacation, just leave the dogs fend for themselves?
No. It's a no. I'm literally trying to think of a situation where it might happen, could happen. No, I think the worst you could get is like an emergency happened and like I've been gone for 24 hours because some sort of family fucking emergency happened. And usually I'd be like, I'd probably be texting you or somebody to go let my dogs
please.
out back.
He's done it. I've watched his house and his dogs.
Yeah, no, I can't think of really any reason that our dogs get left alone longer than like 8 hours.
Yeah, and I heard this last night. My blood was just started boiling. Oh. So I got on Google and tracked her down and figured out who she is, where she is through association. Social media is a beautiful thing when you're trying to track down people because people just are fucking stupid and post things that are hunky-dory while they're in state Z when they should be in state A. I hope, and there's another unfortunate part that the kids are now involved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Adult children or school age?
Children. Notice I said estranged husband.
Yeah.
What do you have to do when you go from, say, Connecticut to Florida? Depending on your arrangement for the divorce, don't you have to...
You have to let the state know.
Yeah, okay. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Fair.
For what?
Leaving the state without...
Moving children between state lines on a permanent basis.
No, you don't.
If it's part of your decree, yes. Yes, you do.
If it's part of the decree, there's no standardized rule on that.
No.
That's what he said. If it's part of your decree. Like Emma
yeah,
lives in Vermont.
Do we know what their
I have a feeling he knows because it sounds
what
personal.
Their
do we want to blow up their spot, Mike?
Well, I don't need names.
Okay.
I guess do we know what their divorce agreement arrangement is?
DCF is involved.
So obviously
how
there
I
was
can.
All right, because I mean, like on mine,
there was a breach of the contract.
when with mine with Tam, literally the only requirement is that it's cleared from one to the next. I could literally take the kids. I'm like, Tam, I'm taking the kids to Mexico for a month. See you, bye. And
Well, that's different than a permanent move.
Oh well, no, yeah, yes and no. I'm just saying, a lot of it all comes down to that agreement. So, and
But at the
I don't
end,
know what that agreement is.
At the end, there's consent involved.
Yeah, there's some sort of consent, and there's usually a rule in place of some sort. Even if it's just going to be a verbal agreement, it's usually stated that way. As long as it's agreed upon by it has nothing to do with anything specific. It's all how the two parties agree to have it written down.
Yeah. And when I hear stories like that, it just makes me lose faith in humans a little bit at a time. And
I completely understand.
there is a very special place in hell that this person should be sitting at right now. Sorry. Same thing. Same go with kids. Chris, what you got next, man?
All right. This one you guys will get a kick out of. The headline reads, this is from April 7th of this year. A man freaks out after sending his STD results instead of a cover letter on his dream job application.
Oh, that'll do it.
Is this Florida?
No. It's London.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're dumb over there too, huh? Across the pond.
You're about to find out. A man freaked out after submitting his STD results instead of his cover letter in an application for his dream job. Jacques Paul from, I hope I say this right, Haringey, London, had been job hunting for around 18 months when at last an exciting opportunity arose in a digital marketing role at a big consulting firm. The 27-year-old duly spent hours filling out the application and putting his best self forward, but it was only after hitting submit that he realized he'd made a crucial error. Jacques says, you get an email confirmation of your application and it said to log on to see the status, which I did. I wanted to make sure everything was okay. Then I saw the PDF and the STD results, and I freaked out. Jacques had meant to attach his cover letter, but instead shared the results of his sexual health screening. On the plus side, the results were negative.
Excellent.
So if he had been applying for a role as a porn star, the attachment could have helped his case. But with it being a role in digital marketing, not so much. Jacques fears the employer may not have even known it was a mistake, instead assuming that he thought, here's another good thing to know about me. I don't have crabs. The screw-up occurred about 1.5 years ago, and he was rejected within 3 days of applying. If it happened 1.5 years ago, why are we reporting on this on April 7th? Seriously. Jacques said, I put a lot of thought and time into applying for this. You have to make sure that your CV is adjusted, whatever the fuck CV.
That's a resume.
Okay. You write the cover letter, I proofread everything, and then I effed it up at the end by uploading the wrong thing. I couldn't change the application, and the only email that was on the website was IT support. I wasn't going to make it a bigger deal than it already was. I freaked out, and I just waited, hoping there was a very nice, sensible human being on the other side seeing it and knowing that it was an honest mistake, and they'd reach out for the actual cover letter. But obviously that didn't happen. Within 72 hours, I got a standard message saying they weren't proceeding forward with my application. He was able to see the funny side of the mishap now and has since launched and landed a new job, and he's decided to share his story on TikTok, the devil's playground, in a bid to destigmatize sexual health and the importance of getting tested. Good on him.
Aren't you on TikTok?
I am.
Okay.
Still a devil's playground. I'm doing it for the show. Did you see my...
Okay. Heard for the show.
Did you see my video today?
No.
For the show.
Okay.
You might want to look it up.
All right.
It's on at Chris Burns TikTok.
Heard.
Look it up. It was a horrible story at the time, but now I see the humor in it. The reason I decided to share this is that it's a funny story, but it's very important to destigmatize sexual health and really get people to test themselves, take care of themselves, and not have it be such a taboo. It starts a conversation. 1 million people have seen me talking about sexual health. Okay, fair enough. Every cloud has a silver lining, I would say, but at what point should this guy not be just the subject of a Comedy Central roast for making perhaps the dumbest faux pas anyone in my lifetime perhaps has ever made?
Yep.
That is pretty dumb. That's dumb.
That's something.
And it wasn't even Florida.
No, or Michigan.
All right. So my next news article comes from the dailymail.com. Those of you not familiar, that's a UK site, which is actually
Oh, we just left London. How nice.
Oh, nice.
See, again, a theme. I'm piggybacking off of Mr. Burns.
It has to be a thief.
All right. So this one caught my eye just because of who the person is. Michelle Obama's brother and his wife are suing $24,000 a year Milwaukee school for kicking their 9 and 11-year-old model student children out of school when they complained that the virtual lessons use racial stereotypes in the word plantation.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
Are we now I say whitewashing. Are we now washing history to not use plantation when a lot of these things took place on a plantation?
I can't wrap my head around this kind of stupid.
My daughter's learning about Auschwitz. They don't stop saying the words Holocaust and things like that.
And I'm sure they say the word dead, death,
Oh, yeah.
torture, scientific experiments, but that's okay. It's okay. Brother of former First Lady Michelle Obama and his wife are suing the children's private school, alleging that administrators expelled their 2 sons after they complained of racist bias during a virtual lesson. Craig and Kelly Robinson filed a lawsuit. University of Milwaukee used the words plantation inappropriately during lessons. They also claimed teachers were inconsiderate to a wide variety of socioeconomic backgrounds. Okay, I'm going to stop right there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
When is it a teacher's job to pussyfoot around facts that are historically documented?
It's not next.
Okay, next. The complaint alleges that the school retaliated against their family after submitted reports in January and March of 2021 after concerns they had over racial and socioeconomic bias, overheard during the virtual learning last year.
Is this like making a guess when the baby is born? We guess their gender.
According to the termination letter the school sent to the Robinsons, the reasoning for the son's dismissal was because Robinsons had not fulfilled the foregoing commitments as a partner to USM and middle school teachers and administrators. So basically, they didn't hold up their end of the deal as students.
Okay.
Okay. But
you do the work, you get rewarded.
Correct.
Move on, yeah.
But in an interview with the GMA, Good Morning America, the Robinsons discussed the lawsuit in which they claimed that the dismissal was a retaliation to the conversations they had with the school about racial bias in school assignments. Okay, pause again. You can't erase history. You can't erase how we treated people 300 years ago.
Good people did bad things. We get it, yeah.
And it's still the same now. Good people do shady, stupid shit. You can't erase it.
Big Herm is a good person, but I know the skeletons in his closet. You look at his face. He's just, you got that right.
I'll admit the same thing. But
he ain't lying.
Yeah.
That's right.
Truth. In addition, there was an insensitivity to the socioeconomic status as well as disregard for the children who weren't physically in the classroom. All right. And again, pause. Does it really matter whether the kids were in a classroom or at home?
No, because we live in a victim culture now where it's better to be a victim than it is to be a stand-up human being.
Or change the story to make you a victim and change the narrative.
Correct.
That's a huge thing right now. They did not share further details on exact instances of racial or socioeconomic bias or how the word plantation was used. Okay, if you can't tell the story, why bring it up? Give me facts.
Yeah.
All right, it's your kid. You tend to want to believe your kid, but your kid 99 times out of 10 is bullshitting you to get what he wants.
How do you, and even that point I get, but how do you correctly teach that era and describe I'm just going to say it, the evil of slavery, of human slavery, and not mention words like plantation or whips or just things like that. And how human beings, not that they're meant to be, and it still goes on today in sex trafficking, human beings were bought and sold as if they were commodities. If you want your children to have a balanced education and learn the right what in the fuck was that?
Oh, I think I might have hit something here.
Oh, okay. Don't hit something. You cannot overlook these things. You can't learn, and that's probably why our 30 and younger crowd think everything they don't like is Nazi and Hitler, because they weren't taught about Hitler correctly. And if you don't teach these subjects like slavery without getting into the dirt and getting something under your fingernails, you're not doing these kids any favors. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.
You're doing them a disservice by pussyfooting around what actually happened during history, and you can't change it. You
know what makes this story?
There's no
Go
point.
ahead, please.
There's no point in even bringing up a discussion like these two clowns did if they're not going to go into the meat and potatoes of what actually happened.
You know what makes this story even worse? Is who they're connected to.
Exactly. And whether you love them or hate them, the Obamas have a reputation.
Exactly.
And this dumbass is riding on his coattails of
using the name to further perpetuate their false narrative.
Perpetuate the lie is a really good phrase that I like lately. Perpetuate the lie.
Well, it seems to be going around.
The school of 1,091 students set up a bias incident reporting system at some point last year. But Kelly Robinson told GMA that when she tried to file a report, was told the system was not working. So again, the victim, poor me, I can't log on to the system. All right, here this is a newfangled device called a phone.
Mm-hmm. I use it every Wednesday to record Speedway review.
Maybe I should pick it up and dial some digits and have a one-on-one conversation, or even better yet, have an in-person, face-to-face conversation. So you could spill your guts as to what you feel is improper,
or request a meeting, or anything. Fucking stupid. People are stupid.
The older I get, the more ornery, pissed off, and just baffled at the state of human nature. We're all victims. No, we're not. We're not victims. You're a victim of yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't help yourself, and you come up with these pronouns and all these battles to make yourself
back to the pronouns
because they change every fucking day.
Ziza, that's mine. Ziza.
Z, zay, them.
I identify as a threat. My pronouns are try and me.
Did I send you that video through Facebook last night about the girl who goes on this long, drawn out?
If you did, I haven't seen it yet.
It's
It
like
was a busy
30
day.
different pronouns as to what this person is.
I did see that. You're right.
All right. You know what you are?
Fucking retarded.
You're a fucking snowflake crybaby who just wants attention.
Mm-hmm. Semi-able-bodied. There was the semi-able-bodied, somewhat Orthodox Jew. You can't be somewhat Orthodox Jew. You either are or you aren't.
So either she's making a very ridiculous statement saying she is these things, or conversely, she's pointing out the ludicrousness of being.
It's hard. It's hard to tell nowadays.
It's a fine line, because nowadays I could post a TikTok video saying outrageous things. People are going to think I believe it. I believe in it. That's how I identify.
Make sure that when you join the TikTok and do this, that I get the.
I'm on TikTok.
Jesus Christ!
It's been on my phone for however long. 2 years since I've had this phone. I don't use it.
And you guys fuck with me for being on the devil's playground.
I just look.
Okay. I don't know how to use it. Emma was supposed to show me, and she failed miserably.
Right. I think it's back to Mr. Burns.
All right. Well, if we're going to end this, we're going to end this the only way I know how. First of all, I'm going to show you this gentleman's picture around the room. Okay.
That's a dude?
That's a dude.
Oh, wow.
At first glance, I thought it was the bassist for Poison. Looks a lot like Bobby Dahl.
Kinda.
Right? Looks like he could play in any sort of given band. Yeah, right?
Why the long face?
Now, I'm going to read the headline, and one of you is going to give me the first 3 words of this story. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
The headline is, this is from...
a Florida man.
From April 9th, 2022.
A Florida man.
Man arrested after baby alligator, guns, drugs found inside truck. What are the first 3 words of this story?
Florida man.
A Florida man was arrested Friday after police found guns, drugs, and a live baby alligator inside his truck, according to WFLA. I know, right? Michael Marola, 31, was stopped around 12:30 a.m. in his black GMC Sierra pickup. The Collier County Sheriff's Office said deputies identified Marola based on, quote, previous law enforcement encounters and having a suspended license, unquote. Authorities searched the vehicle where they found a gun inside the glove compartment and another hidden gem under the passenger seat. What they found under the passenger seat will be told in just a minute. Inside the truck, a live baby gator was discovered in an open plastic tub in the bed of the pickup truck. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's website states that a valid alligator trapping license is required in order for someone to legally own live American alligators from the wild. Deputies found syringes inside Marola's jacket, which later tested positive for amphetamine. Under the seat of the truck, they found 3 bags of what they believe, not tested yet, according to this article, to be crystal methamphetamine.
Nice.
Marola was charged with 2 counts of carrying a concealed firearm, possession of a controlled substance, obviously the crystal meth, and possession of narcotic equipment. And they were also contacted to address the presence of the alligator. Marola was released on bond Saturday. He is expected to return to court on May 2nd. Now, I don't know if it's in the water. I don't know if it's how indigenous. I say indigenous. I wasn't born in Connecticut, but I feel like I'm from here. If you were born in Florida, you're raised in Florida, you come up through Florida. Is this Florida people? JunctionDysfunctionShow@gmail.com. I gotta know. Is everybody born and raised in Florida this fucking stupid?
Yes.
And why? How many times
It's a lack of love in their upbringing.
in how many years Lynch has known the Florida man?
It's the water.
It's got to be.
It's the
I
water.
lived in Florida for a year. I didn't become stupid.
It's the same reason
I was stupid years before.
It's the same reason they have shitty pizza.
Well,
Yeah, you can't get a good pizza.
you got to go to a place where a New York transplant or a New Haven transplant has opened a shop in Florida to get a good pizza.
No, you can't even get it there because it's all about the water. I swear to Christ.
think so?
No, it's all about the water.
I had a pretty good
The
pizza.
water
down
in
there.
Florida is horrible,
It's
and
terrible.
the mineral content sucks. There isn't a mineral content water anywhere like there is here in Connecticut, New Haven, New York area. So much so to the point where people go out west to open a pizza shop and they import like Deer Park or
Yep.
Poland Spring
Yep.
water, literally for the only purpose of making dough.
I don't know what they do, but if you're ever in Ocala, Florida, stop at Sammy's on Route 200 in Ocala, Florida.
You know, Megan says the same thing about Philadelphia.
Their cream cheese is great.
What makes their baked goods, their breads, their
It's
rolls?
the water.
It's the water.
It's the mineral content and levels in the water.
And I thought she was bullshitting me when I first met her. You have a steak and cheese on a Philly hoagie roll.
Yeah,
it's completely different if
And
you do it here.
Florida's water is full of like mud,
Alligator shit and crystal meth.
mud shit. You know what I mean? Like mud. Whereas it's just ugh.
When I first went to Key West to visit her father, my father-in-law, he's like, don't drink the tap water. We have bottled water.
Right.
He's like, we don't even cook with that because it's piped in from Miami underwater
Yeah.
to Key West.
For real.
Yeah, that's a lots of years of crud.
That's crazy.
I just have a headline I want to read just because I hate this fucking guy.
All right.
And I got a headline too, and I'll leave the story for you two to read at another time, or I'll just link the story to you. But I want to hear this headline.
Experts warn Tucker Carlson promoted testicle tanning is useless for testosterone generation and can actually reduce fertility by harming sperm.
This just came up on my feed through Daily Wire, and I haven't read the story yet, but I'm looking forward.
Oh, dude,
to
you
it.
have to read it. And just because I can't fucking stand Tucker Carlson, that just caught my eye.
Understood. I
Yeah.
don't think very much of him either. But I'm gonna throw this name at we talked about it last week a little bit about the quote unquote, if you're an idiot you call it the don't say gay bill, and we heard the Boston Charter School. We heard the thing and had a little bit of an argument today with someone Herm might know. I'm not gonna say their name because A, I don't want to blow up their spot, and B, she really doesn't deserve it. Telling me this doesn't happen. These schools are not trying to push this agenda on kindergarten through third grade. It just doesn't happen. Gave an example. Well, that's one example. Okay, you asked for one. I gave you one. Look up this story, and I got the block and the heave-ho. Not that I care. I could give a shit less. I'll tell you the name off air. This story is from a week ago. New Jersey to require second graders to learn all about gender identity in the fall. Alarming parents. It's not happening, though. No. This isn't happening.
But they're.
I didn't read the story, and before you, I'll let you read the story. But
I guess you're going by, and I'm not going by the story. I'm just going by what you said. But so talking about it is pushing it.
it's a parent's job. If your job is to teach math to a second
All
grader,
right, I got
teach
a
math.
question. I got a question
Sure.
for you. Little Johnny goes out and has a grand old time this weekend.
How old is little Johnny?
Little Johnny's 7.
Okay. He goes out with who?
His parents.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
All right. He goes out with his parents. He goes out and he has a grand old time.
Grand old time.
at the circus or at the carnival or wherever he goes. And when he comes back in and they talk about what they did this weekend, and Johnny goes to talk about how he went to the circus with his two dads, and the teacher looks at him and says, "Oh, we're not allowed to talk about that here." How is that good for the child that every other child that has a male and a female parent gets to discuss their life? But
Apples and pomegranates.
But no, but it's not. But
it is.
It is not.
Okay.
But if I come to you and say that I went with my parents to the circus, okay, because Sally's parents are a boy and a girl, she's okay to talk about that relative home experience and how it's okay. But I can't. But little Johnny isn't allowed to say that he went to the circus and talk about it with his two dads.
What's the key word you use there? Home experience.
But why is she allowed to speak on it?
I didn't say he couldn't. I didn't say little Johnny couldn't speak on it. There's a difference between a kid telling their lived experience.
But she asked.
That's fine.
But if she,
you're missing the point.
No, but
there's a difference between.
I'm not missing the point. The point is that the teacher says that when Sally talks about her mom and her dad, it's all right. But when that law and the teacher construes it that way, again, we write laws and that's all wonderful, but laws are all taken into account by the personal human. So when the teachers all take it into account how that works, why is it okay that Sally can talk about her weekend when asked, but then is told but Johnny is told he's not allowed to talk about it because it's the same experience, it's just two parents.
Because
why is that
I'll answer
different?
that question, because at no point in any of these bills do they stop the kids from talking about their lived experiences. It stops a teacher whose job it is to teach math or history, the one subject that may get around it.
That too, the word social's right there.
It could.
Absolutely.
But, again, I don't want to be that back in my day, but I know, I've gone to school, I've watched different levels of kids, including my own daughter, and now younger than mine, through friends, go to school. I don't know a 7-year-old that has the mental capacity to handle them teaching this, but if that's your lived experience, that's fine. It starts at home. And if I tried to push, let's use religion as a jumping off point here. There are people that don't believe in God, and they make their jokes. I happen to be, I'll say I'm somewhat religious. I do believe in God. I believe in, the different things. I think the Bible's an interesting story, but I believe a lot of what's in it, and a lot of it I find to be utter bullshit. However, I believe. So when I hear somebody say, the invisible spaghetti monster in the sky or the invisible this or whatever, I don't take heart to that. But I'm not going to take your children. Let's just use, you mentioned Sally. I'm not going to take Sally, whether I'm a teacher or I'm just some random adult, and say, come here, Sally, I want to talk to you about God. I want to talk to you about this. That's a parent's job. And as I said last week, when that teacher went off on that rant on the Zoom call, a 7-year-old has the capacity to try to wonder if Santa's real or this. There are some that are ridiculously smart, that the whole gifted and talented program, which I think they've changed the name of it now, for the super high IQ kids. Some of those kids are certainly ready to learn about some of these subjects, but you don't take it as a top-down overhaul. You do it gradually. And if we get to a point where these kids are ready to have these discussions, it shouldn't be the teacher who makes that decision. It should be the parents, especially in a public school where you answer to not only the board, but to the parents. If you want to homeschool your kid, you want to teach them about all this, fine. If you want to have a side discussion, you mentioned Johnny has two dads. Great, that's his lived experience, and he should be able to talk about it. A teacher shouldn't say, you know what? You're wrong for having two dads, because this is how it is. It will.
That's going to happen.
But it has to be gradual. It can't be top-down overhaul.
But the problem is it's not going to be gradual. As soon as the law goes into play, everybody who has their own personal specific opinion on how that law is used is going to go immediately, especially if they're against the whole identity thing, is going to go immediately to the farthest point of no that from center.
Oh, someone will absolutely.
You've got them looking for it to happen already.
Sure.
So my point is that you're going to make this law, and then there's going to be more detrimental shit that happens as a result of it than I think you've you've planned on.
My problem with that is it should be all about compromise. You know, if you want to teach gender identity, ease it in. Find out where these kids' wheelhouses are. You know, I'm okay with it in junior high school. My daughter's about to graduate junior high school. They're starting to learn about this, and she has her questions. She goes to her mom. She goes to me. That's my job. That's your job as a parent. It's not the job of a third grade math teacher to push their particular ideology onto a student. If you teach math, stick to math. Now, you can learn life lessons from these people, and I certainly did. I have a math teacher that I hold in the highest regard, and I think you know who I'm talking about. Yep. But I don't necessarily believe that in the middle of a lesson, he could say, okay, X equals Y plus 3 times lesbian gender ideology bullshit schnabitzfernum. Do your job. And my job, your job as a parent, is to teach our children. Teach them. I don't have to instill my values upon Emma as a child. Yes. When she was 6 or 7, yes. Now that she's older, she's going to learn what the world has to offer. She'll have her questions, and I'm going to be there. And that's the way it should be. But unfortunately, not everybody wants to play the same game.
Nope.
But on that note, we're going to bail out of here. We'll see you next week with minimally 25 one-star strip club reviews. It'll be Lynch's first time in studio for said one-star strip club reviews.
I'm so excited.
You ready for this?
I'm very excited.
I don't think you are.
I'm going to wear my tassels.
Ooh. Herm's going to get the music together. Guys, thanks for joining us once again. Tell a friend. And also, junctiondysfunctionshow@gmail.com for hate mail toward me and show ideas. We're always listening. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.